Hello, my name is Chris Lerson, Tillage Product Specialist with Case IH. Today, we want to talk about some key settings and adjustments to make to the 335VT vertical tillage tool offered by Case IH. The 335VT is a rugged, productive, and agronomic tool. We want to make sure that we capitalize upon those agronomic benefits that it provides, keep it as productive as possible for you in the field, while also capitalizing on its ruggedness. Here are those steps that we're going to take to make sure that it properly runs in your field. There are 6 key steps that we need to take to adjust the True-Tandem 335VT to maximize its performance capabilities. The first step is the pre-field checks. Second step is fore-aft leveling of the tool. Third step is adjusting the mainframe to wing levelness. Fourth step is adjusting the depth. Fifth step is adjusting the tiger paw crumbler. The sixth step is the final checks and assurance that all the steps that we have taken provide the output that the operator desires. Before we start with the primary field adjustments, we need to check a few things to make sure that the tool is properly attached to the tractor. First, we need to ensure that the drawbar pin is installed and the lock pin on the bottom is installed as well. Second, the safety chain needs to be properly hooked up per the operator manual specs. The electrical connector and hydraulic hoses are attached and secure, and using the hose boom to make sure that they're not interfering into the pivot point of the hitch pin. We also need to assure and check the tire air pressures per the operator's manual settings, and also ensure that all the greasing has been done on the tool for proper operation. If the tool is equipped with a rear jack because a rear hitch is installed, place that jack in its uppermost mount and pinned horizontally. Before making any field adjustments, the tiger paw crumbler should be placed into the float position. Thus, it will not affect any of the settings of the tool that we're about to make. The second step is to check the fore-aft levelness of the tool. To start, ensure that the 335VT is on flat, even ground so that it is level from front to back, and then lock the remotes out to avoid inadvertent adjustments. Then go to the field and make one pass. Once this is completed, stop with the blades in the ground and dig around the front and rear blades of the center section of the tool. Once this is completed, measure the blade depths at the front gang, right behind the front gang, and at the rear of the back gang. Make a leveling adjustment so the front and rear depths are the same. Use the gauge found at the front of the tool to understand your final setting so that you can return to that setting later on after transport or after infield adjustments. The third step is adjusting the mainframe to wing levelness. To do this, we're going to need a 1 7/8 inch wrench or the wrench that's stored on the front hitch of the tool. To understand if the wings are level to the mainframe, make another pass in the field after your fore-aft adjustment has been made. Dig behind the front and the rear of the wings and compare that depth to the front and rear of the mainframes. Make adjustments to the depth cylinder eye bolts so that from side to side the levelness from the wings to the mainframe is the same. The fourth step is adjusting the depth of the tool to the operator's desired position. To adjust the depth, turn the crank handle on the single point depth control. The operating depths of the tool is recommended between 1 and 3 inches. You will notice next to the crank, the gauge that says 4 turns will make 1 inch of a depth adjustment in either counterclockwise or clockwise position. Once the VT wave blades are set to your desired depth, adjust the gauge wheels using the crank so that the wheels have firm contact with the soil and can only be slightly pivoted when nudging it. Then insert the pin into the appropriate hole. The fifth step of adjusting the 335VT is adjusting the tiger paw crumbler on the back end. The tiger paw crumbler is conveniently adjusted via hydraulics. If you recall, one of our first steps was to place the tiger paw crumbler in the float position. Typical operation though, there will be down pressure applied to this crumbler and the tractor's remote will be in detent. This is very important to the operation of the tool. Adjustment to the tiger paw crumbler down pressure is made via the valve block mounted on the front of the tool. There are 2 pressure gauges and 2 adjustment valves. The adjustment valve on the left will adjust the main frame down pressure. The valve on the right will adjust the wing frame pressure. The default pressures we will see on these gauges should be around 350 psi and is a good starting point. Consult the operator's manual for the actual down pressure applied to each one of the crumbler segments and correlate that to the pressure on the gauges. However, the operator should be looking at the output of the tool to understand if the pressure of the crumbler is properly adjusted. A convenient feature of the Tiger Paw crumbler is being able to place it in several positions depending on the ground conditions. In high moisture conditions, the crumbler may need to be placed in float, or if in muddy conditions, the reel or crumbler can be raised out of those conditions and prevent plugging. However, please note, it is not recommended to run the 335VT with that crumbler off the ground or raised for long periods of time. Instability of the tool may occur. The sixth and final step to adjusting the True-Tandem 335VT is to verify all the adjustments that we've made provides the output that the customer or operator is looking for. The 335VT is extremely easy and simple to adjust, and specifically remembering to check the fore-aft leveling by digging behind the tool and making sure that we're providing that flat floor for that planter to ride on. The next step of the final adjustments is verifying that wing levelness again, making sure as we dig behind the wing that the depth is same as the main frame. And again, that flat floor is still there to complement seed placement and that planter. Again, verify your depth adjustment by that simple to use and easy to adjust single point depth control. Remembering that 4 turns equals 1 inch of depth control, and the depth range of the 335VT is 1 to 3 inches. And the final adjustment is paying attention to the output of the tool and verifying that our overall surface is very flat. To adjust that levelness, there are several adjustments, but in particular, verify those reel or that Tiger Paw crumbler adjustment and down pressure. And remembering that in muddy conditions, we can lift that crumbler up out of the way and prevent plugging and maximize the performance of the 335VT. After final adjustments are made to the True-Tandem 335VT, the operator should see cut residue mixed in with the soil, a level surface as well as a level floor complementing seed placement in the spring. This is due to the earth metal VT wave blade that penetrates that soil vertically on an 18-degree angle on a cushion gang mount. And combine that with the blade's shallow concavity and rippled crypt center, you should see soil being exploded off the front side of that blade and really a lack of backside blade pressure that could cause a smearing layer under the soil. Soil is exploded off the blade upward, over, and out, which levels the soil surface as well as levels and provides a flat floor underneath for maximizing seed placement and complementing the planter. Those are the 6 key steps to take to setting the True-Tandem 335VT and maximizing its performance and capitalizing on its agronomic design. Again, my name is Chris Lurson, Product Specialist with Case IH for Tillage Tools. Thank you for your time today.